Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. I'm Matt and Augie is here as well. This is NBC Stitcher, a YouTube channel where I talk about cross stitch, and also at the end I will do a media corner to steal a phrase from the Three-Trailed Stitchers, where I talk about things that I've watched, listened to, and read in the last few weeks. This is episode number 44, and it's been a couple weeks since the last time I did a video, and this weekend is going to be kind of full because we are doing catch-up Mother's Day stuff with my mom because I've been out of town the last 2 weekends, and then we are doing my birthday, which is the Sunday, and then my stepdad's birthday is Monday, so we're doing our family stuff for that. I'm also doing like my birthday plans this weekend and all that, so it's kind of a full time. But I want to say thank you to everybody that has watched my videos, liked and commented and subscribed. I appreciate all of that. Thank you for coming back, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing and leaving me a like or a comment or sending me a message on Instagram, any of those things, and just I really do appreciate all of that, and so I hope that y'all enjoy this too. So I do want to say I have a couple shout outs as well to make. First of all, I want to shout out Imogen X Stitch, who who just did their first episode not that long ago. You should go subscribe to them. They're great. I will put them down below. They did a lovely video. I know them from Virtual Stitchers, and their cat Inara has in the past had a thing for Augie virtually, so I haven't heard that recently, so maybe she's over it, but sorry buddy. Anyway, the it's a great video. Go watch their video. You'll really enjoy it. Next up, I'd like to shout out the Steadfast Stitcher. She used to be the Desert Stitcher, but she has moved away from the desert and changed her name and everything. And she's just a wonderful lady, very kind and everything. She has wonderful projects, and we are both working on Forest of Sumatra, and so I love seeing it when it pops up on hers, and she always seems to comment and give me wonderful comments about it when I work on it. So I'm really, you should go watch her as well, and she is, I believe, very close. She's in the 900s the last time I looked, so that she's getting close to 1,000, so go check her out. And then there was one other, I should have written this down, I'm sorry. Yeah, it just escaped me. I was thinking about it. I was like, there's 3. I wanted to do 3. I will think of it some point during this video, and so I'll do that shout out later. Last video I started a new segment, and it was, did I have a title for it? But tell me about a tchotchke. And so with this new bookshelf here that I have put stuff up here, I kind of wanted to go through some of the little things that I have on here, and just the little history of those. So this is the piece that's up for this week. This is a little alabaster globe paperweight. These were sold at Barnes & Noble in the probably mid-aughts, somewhere around there. I know I received it from my grandmother, who purchased it for me while I was an undergrad in college as a gift one Christmas or birthday or something. I don't remember exactly from what, but I loved it. I always, I love rocks and stones and that kind of stuff anyway. I mean, you've seen my agate needle minders, so that is something that I liked, and she got that for me, and I have brought it with me everywhere I've gone since being in college. So it has made some trips. And yeah, it's a wonderful piece, and I just really like it, and I think the color goes great here with the other things that I have going on. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Okay, so let's get into some stitching. I have done quite a bit, but it's mostly on a few projects, and so I don't have a huge amount of progress or a huge amount of projects to show, even though it's been more than 2 weeks. So first up though, I do have a new start, which I will show that first. So, well, it's a restart, but I did restart it. So this is, I don't have the picture, the Pointed Fifth by Long Dog Samplers. When I was working on this one before, I had made quite a bit of progress, and then I realized I didn't have enough fabric to make it work. I had the wrong size fabric. I thought it was 36 and it was 32, and I just didn't really have the space. And I could make it work, but it would require a lot of revising, and I just didn't want to do it. So I restarted this on 40 count, got Vintage Country Mocha, and I just have a little bit. I have essentially a line this way, 2 lines that way, to get kind of the base at the start. I did also change up the floss I'm using. I am using a Silks for You for the borders, and then I'll still use all the different colors for the individual animals and everything, and kind of go from there. You want to be up here still? Okay. So this is a dark teal blue color, and like to a gray. It's a beautiful color. I really love it, and I think it'll look great as the border here. I do have the hank. So it is PR 132. So yeah, it's gonna be great, right? Okay. Muggy, I think it's time for you to mosey on out. Okay, next up, finishes. I do have 2 pieces that I both started and finished since the last time I did a video. And these were, well, so I'm going to StitchCon Weekend B next month, and there is a smalls exchange. And I started this piece thinking, I saw 2 of my friends, Bart, Park Hopper Bart, and Rob, Zav Stitches, both did this piece, and I loved it and was like, I really want to do it. And it's a small piece. I could use it as my small for the smalls exchange. And so I picked out colors and did everything, and then I realized, no, I can't give this away. I want it for me. So I was like, okay, let me find something else. So I'll show the first one. This is from Wild Violet Studios, the Fox and the Crow. And I did just different colors for the whole thing. I do have the colors. Where did I put them? Well, where did they go? I think they're in my... I will have to tell you later. Oh no, they're there. Okay, so I did a mix. They're mostly V-Stitch Me colors, and then I used a few, Color and Cotton is the orange. The Fox is Tiger Lily by Color and Cotton, which I received as part of the fabric, or the color floss of the month from them a couple months ago. So this is Tiger Lily. That's the Fox there. I just thought that would be a great color. And then the black is Cauldron by Big Stitch Me, which is a silk. And then the light blue is also Be Stitch Me silk. It's called Morning Glory. This is it. And then I don't have the yellow. For some reason it did not make it. I think it is honeysuckle, but it is a Be Stitch Me silk that I had in my stash. So, and this is on 16 count Lagoon from Picture This Plus. So I finished it, I decided I wanted it for me, and so I FFO'd it this way, and then it's hanging up on my wall now. So I really love this piece. It was a beautiful, fun stitch, and it was just really nice to work on. So because I was like, I still do want to participate in the Smalls Exchange, I decided to do something different. Now this will be wrapped, and I'm not showing the wrapping, but I'm Weekend B, but I did it's called Drum Roll by Ink Circles. It's one of Tracy's Patreon exclusive pieces, and it is just 3 colors, a red, a yellow, and a green. And so the green is Pickle by Color and Cotton. The red is Poinsettia by Be Stitch Me, which is a beautiful red. And then the yellow is the same as in the other one. I think it's Honeysuckle, but I didn't bring that for some reason. It didn't make it. I think it's still in the container that I had set it aside. And this is a piece of Be Stitch Me Jobelin that was in the grab bag that I got earlier this year. So it was the piece that the size was twice this. There's another piece a little bit smaller. I used about half of it, a little bit more than half. And then I finished this also on a canvas frame. So this will be my Smalls Exchange, unless I find something else that I also want to. I'm definitely doing this, but you get, they do 3 of them, and so if you can you can exchange more than once if you want to participate more than once. It's my understanding, but check the website. So yeah, so those are my 2 finishes. I also have a page finish. I actually have 2 page finishes, I think, since the last time I was showing this piece. But this is also an Ink Circles piece, and I will show the chart first. This is called Forest of Sumatra. Steadfast Stitcher and I are both doing this, as is Christian of Fortnite Fabrics. He commented on my post that he needs to get his out, and I agree, Christian, you should, if you watch this. I don't know that you do, but this is Forest of Sumatra from Ink Circles. I am using the called for floss, which is called Sumatra. It's a silk by Gloriana, and then I have a fabric called Toast from Be Stitch Me, and this is a 36 count. So I did, so the first page I finished was this one up here. I'm like further down. I don't like to stop in the middle of a motif generally. I do have a couple where I have just because I ran out of floss. Like this one is not done, but it was just, I was running out of floss before I came down to the bottom. And then I have finished the bottom page 2, at least what I'm calling it. There is a little piece that starts up here, and I will do that when I do this middle page, which will be next. I will be finishing this up before I move on over to do this side. So it's a 6 page. Yeah, 1, 2, no, 9. 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pages. And yeah, isn't it just amazing? I love this piece so much. This is one that I'm like, if I can continue to do a page a month, which is not hard to do, I got this done about halfway through May, my second page. So I will be done before the end of the year. I've only got 4 pages left. I'm more than halfway. So, but that's kind of my goal. I want to get this done this year and then get it framed and up on my wall because it's gorgeous and it needs a beautiful frame. I wonder what I should do frame wise, or at least ideas. If you have any ideas of what you think, what like color, or like should I do a walnut kind of like wood finish, or what do y'all think? Give me some ideas in the comments if you don't mind. I'd love to know your thoughts with this color combination. This is a blue green, more dark blue, like teal, dark teal, and green as well. So I will be continuing to work on this, but I haven't been working on it since I got my page finished. So I'm kind of like trying to focus on some other things, but then at the end of the month, I'm sure I'll get back into doing like a length a day or that kind of thing. Okay, then I have also been continuing to work on the fox from Cottage Garden Samplings. I have not started any of the other pieces yet, but I might. So this is the fox. This started it all. The new one was just like posted today, I think. It's a bald eagle. So after the bear is the bald eagle. It's also great. It's a lot of stitches. It's a full, like, it's a lot in that piece. It's a big eagle, but I think it'll be beautiful. So this is where I'm at. I have finished all the feetsies of the fox and kind of filling in some of his legs, chest and all that. So this is called Magic Gray. It is a Bee Stitch Me fabric. This is a 40 count linen, and this is part of the Woodland bundle that Big Brandy did for this series. So I'm doing it 1 strand over 2 on the 40 count. That's where I'm at. I'm using Anchor Black for the black instead of, I think it's Weeks or something that's called for, and then instead of the white over dyed, I'm using Silks for You white, which I have quite a bit of, so I was just using that instead. And then the called for Gentle Arts I'm using, and then the DMC. So yeah, that's where I'm at. This pen, needle minder is from Rebel Stitcher Designs, but I received it as a gift from my friend Robert. Robert's Palace of Stitches. Augie, no, I'm sorry. Augie. Now is not the time for that. Can I see that? Can I see it, please? Thank you. I'm sorry. He was gonna squeak a lot. So I apologize if that set off your dogs. But I'm doing the 3 animals of each season together on 1 piece of fabric, and I intend to frame them just the 3 at a time, and then I can rotate it, during this fall. I'll put that up, the winter and all that. But I'm gonna have to get cracking on this if I want to get that done. I don't know that I'll get it done for next year, or I may get it done during next year, hopefully. Maybe this can help with some of my seasonal stitching. I can have seasonal things. I still will do some little ones, I think, this year, but after I've got those done, that would be a good spot. It lives in this wonderful project bag that Robert's Palace of Stitches gave to me. I know Robert through Virtual Stitchers. He's great. He is a wonderful person, and I'm just so happy that he made this for me. So I thanked him so much, and I got to meet him in person when my boyfriend and I went up to Kansas City for spring break, over spring break. So yeah, it's so good, and it's quilted. and it's beautiful. I love it. So thank you again, Robert. Okay. I have also been working on my full coverage pieces, a little bit on full coverage Fridays. I'm actually a little behind for this month. Well, I mean, the month is not over and I still have time to catch up, but I have been working on it some, but I think I've done about 1,000 stitches this month, so I've still got 2,000 to go. It's doable. I've just got to kind of, get back into it. But this is Intimate Encounter by Sandra Santera is the artist, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I am doing this on 28 count, 2/1 tent stitch. For the most part, I worked in this area here, filling this in. I did do a little bit more up here of some of the fill-in up there as well, but yeah, it's a wonderful piece. I really love it. And I'm over 7.75%, so that seems quite a bit on a Heaven and Earth. It's not a big regular size Heaven and Earth, and it's not a super size or max color or anything like that, but it is still large. So I am happy with the progress, but this will definitely continue to get some love. I will actually have to move the Q-snap to finish off this. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do, if I'm going to kind of like just kind of get up to here and then what or whatnot, but yeah. So yeah, that's that one. I have one other piece that I've been working on, and this is just the last, well, more than a week. This is Cleopatra, Queen of the Nile from Bella Filipina. This is the cover image, and I did do a skin conversion on her, but this is, and I'm also doing it on a different fabric. This is how far I am. So she has a lot of sparkly thread. I'm using Treasure Braid versus the called for Kreinik, but Kreinik is not that bad to work with. I had already done the Treasure Braid, and I think it's a little bit cheaper if you can convert it, but it's not too bad. Working with Kreinik is also not too bad, but because of the amount, like all of this around her head, her neck, this staff, there's a lot, as you can see. You can see all of the sparkle. Well, maybe you can't, but there's a lot. So the fabric I have her on is called Blood Orange. It is a Be Stitch Me fabric, and it is 32 count linen. As you can see, it's a beautiful piece that has a lot of different colors. I think she's going to be, there are some colors that kind of fade in, but those are in the middle. Those are not the colors on the outside. So I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with like the borders being, recognizable. So yeah, I'm fine with that. So what have I done? Well, I did this staff for the most part. I did her hand up here. I filled in more of this part, got more of the headdress done, finished pretty much the headdress. Did her her eyeshadow. Well, there's still a couple. There's another color that I need to get to. And then I started coming down here and was working on this part of the throne and her dress. So it's hard. The dress is especially hard to see right here, but that is not something that's really going to, more of this background color is going to flow down here. That's really going to offset it. So I'm not worried about that. It will kind of pool down here at the bottom, but this color is going to make it's going to fit in a lot more. So if it's down here, I'm not worried about it standing out there. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece. She's a lot of stitches. She is very big, and there's a lot of metallic thread. My friend Kate, Stitchy Aardvark, is also working on her. Part of her WIPCO goals was for me to decide what Kate worked on this month, and I picked her because I was planning on working on her anyway. And so she's further along. She's got a bunch of the top here done, and she's got like this arm and stuff. So yeah, I've got the hand down here, but I still need to work on some of this arm. Well, most of it. So that's Cleopatra. And I did do a skin conversion, but that's the only colors that I converted was her skin. I made it darker because Cleopatra was not likely a pasty white woman. Or pale, if we want to go there. Okay, that's all the stitching that I have done. So let's move into the haul portion. This is kind of larger than normal. I say that every time. I just buy a lot. So I did, there was a bag sale from Garon Toten Bags this last weekend. I did participate in that. And so I purchased 2 bags. There was this merman fabric that I was like, oh yeah, definitely need that. Which I got this size bag, and I also got the 11 by 11 Q-snap cover. Let's see, so yes, it'll be, I don't know what I'll put in this. I could put Triton in it, but I feel like I already have something. So yeah, Merman, Garon Toten Bags. I did also buy another bag because I liked it. I think this was green farm or green forest animals, something like that. I don't remember. There's what it looks like. You can see. And then, oh, I didn't show you the inside. So this one has bees, like a light green bee fabric. And then on the inside of the merman is words in the sand. So sea life is good, sun, sea easy, that kind of stuff. So yeah. And then I also got this other grime guard. It doesn't match that other fabric, but I just liked it. I was like, oh yeah, I could use that. I feel like I could use a few more grime guards, including on the forest animals. Okay, I also received today my nest egg from 3 Owl Threads. Trisha from 3 Owl Threads does this program where you get you sign up and you get a particular dyer, and she sends out like 10 or 5. It depends on the dyer how many skeins she sends out, but I'm in the Threadworks 20-yard skein club, which is one of the more expensive ones, but it is the best, is probably the best value because it's 20-yard skeins versus 5-yard skeins. And so these are overdyed cotton, and this is 1139, which is tapestry, which is a beautiful blue, green, and purple variegated. 1105, this is called Sunset, which is a beautiful yellow and golden brown variegated. 1037, this is Tiger Butter. So this is like a goldish brown and tan and taupe kind of variegation. Kind of reminds me of like a tiger's eye rock. 1199, Sweet Innocence. This is like a bright fuchsia and white variegated. It seems to come across pretty bright, but it is variegated. Maybe that was a little better. 1021, this is Tide Pools. So this goes from a pretty light blue to a dark blue, variegated. 1009, Surf's Up. This is like a light sea foam and a light blue kind of variegation. 10020, Thistle Mauve. This is like a dusty thistle mauve color. 1029, this is Sun Shadows. So it's like a cream and taupe like tan, like light purpley tan taupey color variegation. 1112, this is Tchotchke, Teka. So this is like a cream to a light blue and a light, like muted green, like a sage green kind of, but a light color. 1136, so this is Sunset Skies. So this is kind of like a corally red color and like a gray and a cream. So that's those. Okay, I participated in the Friday Night Fight Night. I think it was two weekends ago, 2 Fridays ago. It was certainly not this last Friday, but maybe 2 weeks ago, or 3. And I purchased a couple pieces of fabric. I got a 40 count piece of Bronze Age linen, which is this one, which is a beautiful light brown color. Nice. And because I like this color, I also got a piece of 36 count of the same thing. And also beautiful. I did enter in the giveaways and I won quite a nice one, quite a substantial one. Brandy does a whole bunch of different things with her giveaways on the Friday Night Fight Nights. You have to buy something to enter, or you have to purchase from her recently to enter. But I put my name in for this kit, which was for Mayari, Deity of the Moon, and this is the pattern. And so it comes with the pattern, it comes with the fabric, and it also comes with the treasures and the Krynic. So you may, those of you that have been here a while, have been like, Matt, don't you have that? I did have the fabric, or I did have a fabric, and I did have the pattern, but I did not have the treasures and everything. And I was like, well, if I get that, and I do love her space fabric, so even if I don't end up using this one for this piece, I did get this lovely 32 count opalescent linen Cosmos, and so it would be really pretty to do her on this. I have a different space fabric that I have like a full half yard of, so I could do both this one and the sister pattern to it, which I may still do. This is opal, and that is more difficult for me to see, so I am not sure if I will use that as a giveaway in the future or something, but it's really lovely. So okay, I also purchased from Just Keep Stitchin', Pam and staff. They did a merch sale, and so they where you could get shirts or different things with their faces on it. And I got a tote bag, and it's got their faces, and I'm really excited. I'm going to take this with me to StitchCon, and then they will see it. Maybe I'll get them to sign it. I don't know. That's not weird. So yeah, I'm excited to have this tote bag, another one to use for different stitching stuff. Project bag holder, all of the things. So yeah, okay, I'm in the Bird Crush Club from Lindy Stitches, and this month is the Lazuli Bunting, and this is the picture that inspired it, and then this is the pattern, or the cover for the pattern. See that? So yeah, she does give a overdyed, and they've all been threadworks. I don't know that they're going to stay only being threadworks, but that's the one that she's been using. And this is Mystique, and it's a beautiful green and teal, like a light teal and green color. And then you get some other pictures of the bird, like this one with some facts on it. and everything else that comes along with the Bird Crush Club. So very excited about that. Okay, I did get my fabric of the month for April from Be Stitch Me has also come in, and Floss, the Silk Club. So I get two 25 yards skeins of like a multicolor or variegated one. This is Laser Tag, which is a beautiful, beautiful color. And then Dandelion, another beautiful golden yellow. That's so pretty. And then I also got fabric, and I got a 32 count Jobelin from, it's called Peanut. This beautiful piece of fabric. It's a very nice, in the Jobelin, it's a very nice creamy neutral. I think it probably dyes darker in linen, but it's really pretty. And then I get 36 count linen in Rainy Day. That's this one. And isn't that just so pretty? Beautiful, like tealy gray, wonderful color. I love that one. So there's that. I am also in the Floss Club from Color and Cotton, and I'm in the Brights. So I get 5 skeins, and this is Nightshade. It's a nice like light purple, Tomato, which is beautiful red, Parrot Tulip. Oh, I know that tulip. That's a beautiful orangey red color. Confetti, which is a nice like neon multicolor. Egg Yolk, which is a nice variegated yellow. Orange, like golden yellow. And then finally, my last bit of haul is from Jody, the Steel City Stitchers Fabric of the Month Club, and this is 32 count linen, and this is brown. I mean, this doesn't have a name, but it is brown. You see this? That's actually a really pretty effect. Like, there was like it's kind of like, almost like trees in the bottom there, and then like, wow, I hadn't seen that. I don't know how I could use that and get that fabric in, but it's really pretty. I really like that. And then there's also this beautiful pink color as well. So there is that. I don't have a picture of it. I did just learn today, I think it just went out today, Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery is doing a Pride Sal. The piece, the design just went up, I think today or recently on his shop. I just remembered the other person. Okay, I'll finish this and then I'll do my other shout out. And it's for Pride Month, and so it starts, the stitch along will start June 1st and then go through, I think, till August 1st. So you've got 2 months to do it. It's a pretty big piece, but I mean, it's doable. I think I'll start it on June 1st, but I don't know that I'll try to get it done in that time period. But maybe. It's a beautiful combination of Pride colors for the LGBTQ community Pride celebration for this June, and then but also with the kind of folk style of Jacob's pieces. So there's birds and flowers and everything, and like a lot of his other pieces. And there's also a monochromatic version that's available in it. It is 7 pounds, or no, 7 euros. I think it's in euros. Yeah, I think it's in euros. And so it is, and then half of the profits from it are going to be donated towards LGBTQ charities and stuff. He hasn't made the decision on who that is, but a big portion of that is related to the several recent laws that have been passed in this country targeting trans people, trans youth, and just really kind of there's a lot of laws that are forcing us to take steps backwards that we with all that. And before I do want to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but I remembered my third shout out. It is Zan of Crazy Band Lady Stitches. Today is her birthday. This will not be up in time for it to be her birthday, but I've already wished her a happy birthday. She's one of my table mates at Steel City Stitchers. She's amazing. Go check out her channel. I know I've mentioned her before, but go check her out. She is great. And she just did a new video today. I haven't watched it yet, but for her birthday and everything. So Zan is amazing. Go give her a watch and subscribe to her too, because I think she's still also under 1,000, and she's wanting to get up to that 1,000 mark. Okay, I was talking about the recent laws and everything. We've also had, at this point, a leaked opinion from the Supreme Court that indicates that the Supreme Court is going to be overturning the constitutional protection for the right to an abortion. I do not practice in this area of law, but I am a lawyer. I did obviously read a lot of these cases, Roe v. Wade, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, Connecticut versus Griswold, and a lot of the other things that this leaked opinion would reference, and it is very troubling. I am a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer, and so nothing I say should be considered legal advice. If you need legal advice, consult an attorney licensed in your state or your jurisdiction, because things vary widely from one place to the other. But one of the things that is most troubling for people of my community, being in the LGBTQ community, is the likelihood that this will lead to the reversal of things that we have fought for and achieved in the last several decades. We've been fighting for a lot longer than that, and maybe a little bit like backstory of, we're stepping into, it's about to be June, which has traditionally been Pride Month. The reason why June is Pride Month is because it's the anniversary of the Stonewall riots in the 60s in New York, the end of the 60s. And it is really the anniversary of the first of the riots was the first time we did a Pride parade. And it is, and that's why it's usually in June. Now, a lot of places will do it in other times of the year as well, or instead of June, but that is the traditional time period going back to the Stonewall riots. But, okay, the constitutional right to an abortion stems from the idea that there is, in the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, a right to liberty, which is written there. It says liberty, and that within that concept of liberty or freedom, the Supreme Court has interpreted that provision to stand for the proposition that certain types of rights exist under that liberty right, including in that is the right to marry someone of a different race. The constitutional right to marry, Loving v. Virginia, is based in that provision. So there were state laws that prevented interracial couples from being married, and that was challenged and thrown out by the Supreme Court. There was also state laws that were against sodomy or anal sex that were taken, which that law or that provision of the Constitution was also used to overturn those as well. Some of that also has an equal protection element, and that was because the particular case, which is Lawrence v. Texas, was also, there is the liberty interest and the right to privacy, which is kind of that, the government doesn't have a right to tell me what to do in the bedroom situation, and that goes back to the Connecticut versus Griswold case, which is that a married woman could buy, there was a state statute that prevented a married woman from buying contraception. And that was overturned by the Supreme Court and said, no, you can't, they have a right to do what they want to do in the bedroom. The government has no place in controlling that. And so that's this idea of a right to privacy. Well, built onto that was the right of a woman to have an abortion, which was recognized in Roe versus Wade. But and since then, there have been other things that have been recognized through that same kind of concept. The anti-sodomy laws were struck down. The right to marriage for gay people also has an equal protection element to it, and so, but these cases, the way that the Supreme Court is going, and the indications from this opinion and other opinions written by this Supreme Court show that there is a strong likelihood that things will be, when challenged, will be undone. And if the Supreme Court ends up issuing an opinion like the one that was leaked, I think it's very troubling for a lot of reasons. And there's a lot of other things that just make it very troubling to me, and very worrisome. I have seen a lot of LGBT content creators making videos about, even if you're married, it's a good idea to get documents drafted because your marriage may be invalidated. Things like durable power of attorney, living wills, and things that if your marriage is recognized, your spouse does not need additional paperwork to be able to step in for your shoes if you're incapacitated, but or a will so that you can leave your things to your longtime partner. If your marriage is invalidated, it wouldn't automatically go to your spouse. It would, in fact, not go to your spouse, and if you had no biological or adopted children, it would go to your parents or your siblings under most states' laws of intestacy. So there's a lot of things that we have made progress towards in the last 40 years that seems like it's on the edge of being torn down. And so it's a very troubling time to be a person that, like me. And I do not, but I should also say, I do not have it near as bad as other people that are a part of my community or in a part of the LGBT community that I'm not a part of. There's a lot, there's a whole other thing. There's a lot of things going on that is just very, very troubling this time. So I just wanted to go on a little spiel about that. That was not really planned, but you got it. Okay, so I do have some books to talk about. So let's do that. So first of all, I'm going to try to do these in order of when I read them. So I talked about Heartstopper the last time because I had watched the show and I'd read the graphic novels, and then I'd read the novella, I think I had, Nick and Charlie. I think that Charlie and Nick and Charlie. that was amazing. The whole series is amazing. I love it. I have watched the series like 3.5 times because I've also watched it, made my boyfriend watch it. And it was great. But there was another novella that I didn't initially know about, so I grabbed that one as well and read it. It's called This Winter by Alice Oseman, who is the writer and creator of Heartstopper and all of the other incarnations or aspects of that universe. It's also great. This one is also told partially from the point of view of Tori, Charlie's sister. And it kind of takes place during the events of, I think, the 4th volume, or this is also, or the events of this novella are referenced in the 4th volume of the graphic novel. So, there's also a book that Alice has written called Solitaire, which is also from Tori's point of view, that I have started, but I have not finished it, so I'm not going to talk about it. But it was a great book. Another book that I read that I've had for a while, but I haven't gotten around. Did I talk about this? Hold on. I feel like I may have talked about this last time, but I didn't check this part of the video last time. So it's called Guncle, or The Guncle. Yeah, The Guncle by Stephen Rowley, author of Lily and the Octopus and the editor. So this is the story of a middle-aged gay actor, TV actor. It gives me the feel of like he was on Friends or something like that level of like stardom, or maybe Modern Family, but I don't think he played like a gay character. But he was on a TV show, and it was quite successful, and then he I think he lost his partner before getting on the show, but he had kind of become reclusive, and then when the show ended, he didn't have a reason to leave Palm Springs anymore. So he's mostly been living at his nice house in Palm Springs, and kind of just like continuing to exist. But he gets a call from his brother that his sister-in-law, who was actually his best friend from college and his brother's wife, has passed away. They knew it was kind of coming. She'd been battling cancer. But he goes to his brother's house back in Connecticut, so all the way to the other coast for the funeral and to help out. And then while he's there, his brother tells him that he needs his help because his brother's an alcoholic, or an addict on pills, an addict, and needs to go inpatient for treatment. Sounds very familiar. I think I've talked about it, but I'm sorry. And the treatment facility is near where the Guncle lives. And so he needs help to take care of his kids. So Patrick is the name of the uncle, because they call him Gup, which is gay Uncle Patrick. But there are 2 kids, a young boy and then an older girl, and they essentially go to live with Patrick while their dad goes into rehab for about 90 days. And so this is during the summer, and this whole thing happens. Because of the kids, he kind of comes out of his shell a lot more. He gets back into acting and really kind of revitalizes his career, but also really revitalizes his life in a lot of ways. It's not really a romance story, but there is like a romance storyline sort of with another character, but it's not like a major part of the story by any means, and it's not like there's romantic scenes, except maybe some kissing, but nothing like spicy. But it is a beautiful book. It is funny, it is witty, and it is a really it's a really nice book. I really enjoyed it. This was not next, but where was it? Actually, I think this was. Then I read this book called Blaine for the Win, which is by Robbie Couch, the author of The Sky Blues, which is another queer book, fiction. It is, so it was described this way, and I think it's pretty accurate. It's like Legally Blonde, but set in high school and for like a gay main character, a gay Elle Woods. Stop. But I think that's pretty accurate, and it's really good. So the main character, Blaine, is, he's had a boyfriend for a year, and then he gets dumped, and it's kind of the oh, I need to date somebody serious now. And so like Blaine tries to get him back by running for student president. His boyfriend is the outgoing student senior class president, and he is a junior, and so he starts to try to run to be senior class president for the next year. But Blaine is also an artist. He does a lot of murals, and he has a bunch of friends that he sees, or in the story, and it's a really nice, it's a nice high school book. There's not like any, like there's not like high school bullying or homophobia. I mean, there's some like, there's not that though. Like it's not, it's like there's a lot of gay people in this high school. It's, I think, set in New York, maybe, or Chicago, not New York. But yeah, it's a really nice, fun book. I really enjoyed it. And I love Legally Blonde. It's one of my favorite movies. I will watch it, especially if I'm not feeling well or I'm feeling sick and I need something to like pick me up. It's definitely one that I will watch. So Blaine for the Win. Okay, next up, and this is kind of a bit of a, this one will take a little bit. And it's also a romance book, and I'm kind of going to get into some things. Not too graphic, but okay, this is called Will and Patrick Wake Up Married. It's by Letta Blake and Alice Griffiths, and this is, you can get the first 6 volumes all in one audiobook, which is what I did. This is a gay romance book, spicy, graphic sex and stuff. But there were things I liked about this, and then there were things that I was like, wait, what? There were moments that made me laugh out loud, and then moments that made me laugh out loud at it. And so there's a couple things that I want to talk about. First of all, this is a male gay romance book. From my understanding, neither of the authors are gay male people. And I know that a big portion of the readership of male romance books are women, straight women, or cis women. And I know that a big portion of the authors of male romance books are women. And there's nothing wrong with either of those things, nor am I suggesting that anything should be, like there should be gatekeeping or anything like, But as somebody that is a gay man, listening to this or reading this book, there are points where I'm like, my response to is that author, the person that wrote this is not a native speaker. Like, there are some phrases or some things that just don't sound quite like they make sense. And it's like somebody's talking to you in English, but they're not a native English speaker, and so they might like use the phrase weird or like use a different words to mean the same thing, that you can kind of get what they were saying, but it's not how anybody would say it normally. That kind of situation. There's that happens. Especially some descriptions of the sex and everything, but it is good. It's also, it is a romance book, and there is some level of it is kind of like ridiculous. like to force these characters together. So the basic premise is Will and Patrick wake up in Vegas after a night of both drinking and craziness that they have married each other. Turns out Will is an alcoholic, should not have been drinking, and Patrick is a neurosurgeon, doesn't have a drinking problem, but so he is like, well, I need to go back to Atlanta because, you know, work and things. But then his boss walks in on them and ends up firing Patrick. And this all happens in the very beginning, so it's not really spoiling anything. And then Will is essentially runs a philanthropy foundation that he funds with money he receives from his mob father or his mob father's family. So he is not really close to his father, but as a member of this crime family, he gets money from a trust that's set up for his benefit. He uses that money to give it away to people, to fund a hospital in his town in South Dakota, and to do lots of good things with the money. But there's a provision of the trust that if somebody divorces, they lose access to the money. And so, like, at first when they were discussing it, I was like, that doesn't seem like that would be possible. Like, the way they described it sounded like something like, I don't think the law would let you do that. Now, the further along in the story, it kind of makes more sense the way they describe it later. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you could probably work it that way. But essentially, it seems like they're forcing these people together. Kind of what triggered Will to have this binge into drinking, where he'd been sober for a while, was his boyfriend of several years, who is a real disgusting human, broke up with him while he was out of town on a trip and had no support system. And then he starts to drink, he meets Patrick in the bar, and then they have a wild night and everything. Well, so he convinces Patrick to come back with him to South Dakota to stay married to him, while they can try and figure this out. And then, they're kind of forced together, and there's more things that happen. But the other thing is, like, Will's family is just crazy. Like, there's the whole mob element to it, which his dad, like, sends him a congratulations with a horse and a note on it that says, like, essentially, like, I'm so happy for you, my son. I hope you have a wonderful marriage. I hope he makes you very happy. If he doesn't, I understand that he's a doctor and a surgeon, and he probably needs those hands to continue to do his job. Like, very clearly threatening Patrick's safety, physical, all of that stuff. It's that his mom is just weird and very not controlling of Will in some ways, but not a great mom there, but not like she has her own problems as well. He has an uncle that is gay, his mom's twin brother, Kevin, who had a husband that died of HIV or AIDS-related illnesses. And so this threw me a little bit, and I had to do some digging to figure out the time period of this, because this is one of the other problems I had with this book. So Will is supposed to be about 26 when this starts. It was originally published in 2016. So, but he has younger siblings that remember Uncle Roy, but only as like dying or, about to die. So Roy died like maybe 10 or less years before the start of this book. And that seems like an odd time period to still have somebody with HIV that would die unless they didn't have access to treatment, which he did. He would have had it. And also, most certainly nowadays, it's not really something that there are instances where it can happen, but it is very rare and very unlikely that somebody that contracts HIV will ever die from it. From that, there are amazing drugs that are, somebody will take like a pill a day, or I think they've even started, or they're testing some like injections that somebody could get an injection every month as like, instead of having to take a pill a day, or I don't know the exact extent of it, but it's something that's very, it's almost like they didn't quite do their research right. And so it seems to me that it's problematic in the way they handled it, even though, and there's also commentary about the use of condoms, and like there's no discussion of things like PrEP, which is PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylactic, and it's essentially somebody that doesn't have HIV can take a medication which is actually a anti-HIV medication, and they can use that and have that in their system so that if they get exposed to HIV, there's a very low or minuscule, like not likely it ever, to actually contract it. And I think I think it was a few years ago, but I think there's been like one case of somebody on PrEP that then contracted HIV after being exposed to it. And I think there was issues of consistently taking his medication, or some other things that kind of show like a basis for why he could have contracted it, and not that he was staying consistent with the recommendations of his doctor. And so there's no discussion of PrEP, which in 2016, a gay doctor would know about that. And so like that seems weird. And then like, I don't know, there's just some aspects of it seem kind of more stigmatizing, the way they're using that to drive the plot than really like a honest or like appropriate portrayal of people in this situation. So that I definitely had problems with. And I think that kind of goes back into the not a native speaker criticism that I have for this context. There are LGBT books or male-male romances that I've read written by straight women that have been amazing. And so like, I don't think that's that would have, but I feel like research should be done. So that's what I want to say about that. It is a very long. The 6 books take, I think, about like 20, or the 6 episodes, I think they're styled, take about 25 hours or so, or something along those lines. It's quite a bit. Excuse me. Quite a long story, which is nice, and it does kind of go back and forth, and but there's also this weird, like, I don't know, I guess there's certainly discussion about abuse for triggers, like there's abusive relationships that are described here. There's these characters have some very complex histories, and it's just, there's a lot going on there. So if that's something that I think that could be something that would trigger people if they didn't know that was coming. So if you're interested in looking at it, I would also recommend checking out Goodreads or something where they can describe some of the other things that are going on in the book that maybe you want to be forewarned about before you read it. And then that's the end of the books that I have read. I did watch this last weekend the what is it? Senior Year, which is the new Rebel Wilson movie on Netflix that came out last Friday. So the premise is she is a senior in high school in 2002, a cheerleader, and the cheerleaders below her don't catch her, and she falls and enters a coma for 20 years. Wakes up, she's now Rebel Wilson, and she's trying to get back to her, she wants to finish out her senior year, and a lot of things have changed, including her boyfriend is married to her archenemy from high school, and their daughter is now a senior in high school. I ended up watching this with my boyfriend because we had seen the preview, and I was like, oh, that looks cute. He's like, want to watch it together? Sure. I enjoyed it. I would never watch it again. I don't think he enjoyed it. It was a lot more laughing at it than laughing with it situation. There are some great parts of it, and I did enjoy those, but there was a lot more of like, what the heck is going on? My boyfriend is older than me, and he and his sister and I watched Pretty in Pink last year, and that is a very important movie to them and describes their high school and teenage experience in that time period. And I did not relate to that and was like, does not have a nostalgic factor to me. And so I described this movie as his Pretty in Pink, because it does have nostalgic factors to me, because in 2002 I was a junior in high school, or a sophomore, and so like there are aspects of it that I'm like, oh yeah, I know I relate to that. Seeing that's very nostalgic to me. It's nowhere near as good as Pretty in Pink is. I am not a fan of Pretty in Pink either, so I do like the music, but it's that's not something I need to watch every year, nor is senior year something I need to watch again. But that was something else that I watched recently, and so I thought I would share that. And let's see. I am wearing, this is a Ted Lasso shirt that says Believe. You can see that. I finished Ted Lasso before, and I talked about that already. It's also a great series. I'm excited for that to come back. I'm watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which has started. The second episode came out last week. The third one will be tomorrow night. I'm also looking forward to the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, which starts Friday. There's just a lot of cool stuff happening. So thank you all for spending some time with me and stitching, or whatever you do while you're watching Flosstube. I'm usually stitching when I watch, so I hope you enjoyed this and got to show you some of my most recent progress, and I hope you have a great next couple weeks, and I will see you hopefully by the end of this month, if not the beginning of June. So, bye!